Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Monday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. As far as I'm concerned, The End of Time Part 2 is the Doctor Who Revival's series finale. Now, it wasn't that way for me at first. I mean, I always loved RTD. He's a great writer. He created the Doctor Who Revival. But by the end of it, by the time we got to Series 4, I was thinking, maybe it's time for somebody else. Maybe it's time for Moffat to give us something a bit darker, you know, grittier. Because Russell's a romantic. Russell had bright colours. He's the Kevin Feige of the Doctor Who kind of television franchise revival, if you like. And I was kind of thinking, I want to see something else. I regret wishing that every single day of my life. It's like that. Be careful what you wish for. You might just fucking get it, right? And we did. So very quickly into the Moffat era. Even though I love Stephen Moffat as a writer, he did some good things with his era, but it's an inconsistent era, and Russell's isn't. Because Russell's not just a great writer, he's a great producer and a showrunner. He knows structure. And Chibnall and Moffat don't get structure. They're just like on a roundabout going, push me some more, push me some more, push me some more. And it doesn't work as a constructive television series. And the problem is with Moffat and Chibnall, they'll say, it's an ever-changing universe. It's an ever-changing universe. Just because it's an ever-changing universe, it doesn't mean you keep on fucking changing it. It was the consistency of Russell T Davies that made Doctor Who such a popular show. And it's the inconsistency of Moffat and Chibnall that changed that. And what I love about his kind of Davies' conclusion of his era, something, as I say, I labelled the series finale of the revival because I think it pretty much is. And going forward, I'd really, listen, honestly at this stage, I would just like to forget the Moffat era, even though there's some great episodes in it. I'd like to forget the Chibnall era and just say there's just the Russell T Davies era. Maybe that's exactly what we're going to get. Because I don't even know what I'm going to call this video at this point. It's obviously you're watching it, it's got a title. It was going to be about the end of time, but it's also about what happens next and about the Russell T Davies era itself. I've mentioned this before, that both Eccleston's and Tennant's Doctor were on the same journey, not separate journeys. That Capaldi's and Smith's Doctors are on separate journeys to a point. I know there's some connective stuff there, but mainly they're on separate journeys. We meet Eccleston's 9th Doctor. He's angry, he's bitter, he's twisted, he's lost his people, the end of the world. When he meets the tree lady, she discovers where he's from, and there's this chat, and Eccleston's crying. It's so powerful. And that goes on to Tennant's era of the Doctor, and he becomes a better Doctor, a happier Doctor. But what's very interesting about Tennant's Doctor, he doesn't just leap into Tennant and say, I'm a happy Doctor now, fuck all those Time Lords I killed. No, it's not like that. There's still a journey there, and there's still an element of darkness to Tennant's performance as the Doctor. And you can feel Eccleston trying to break out at times. How many? How many? If you're looking for another authority, there isn't one. That kind of stuff. Love that in, is it New Earth episode 1 of season 2? So you see elements in the Christmas Invasion when he deposes Harriet Jones. You can see Eccleston coming out with him. Because Eccleston is definitely the gritty, angry Doctor, and Tennant is the happy, the smiley, young, attractive Doctor. But that Doctor is still alive and well in David Tennant, and that's part of the magic of Russell T Davies. I can't believe I ever wanted him to leave and bring someone else on. I just thought maybe, you know, I love Russell, but let's darken it up. Let's have another vision here. And I got what I wanted. And honestly, Russell, I'm so sorry, and I'm so happy you're coming back and you're grabbing Doctor Who, but I won't say by the balls, because then we'll get people talking about genderism, so we don't want to go there. I'm not interested in identity politics. I'm interested in Doctor Who and having nuanced discussions about it. So Russell's Doctor Who was about both his Doctors. Basically, even though Eccleston's regenerated into Tennant, Davies in a way sees them all as the same character. By the way, that's exactly what they are. You see, Doctor Who and the regeneration element can be made very complicated, but it really isn't. He can save his life, he can basically rebuild his own body, but it's difficult because it's like a different, it's still him, but it's like reincarnation in a way. You're going to be a little bit different the next time. And that's what Russell T Davies did with regeneration. So, when we get to the end of time, it's the end of Russell T Davies' Doctor Who arc. But not just from the Christmas Invasion, from Rose. It's all there. And the story is completed in a wonderful way. This Doctor, think about this, right? This Doctor starts in a kind, on a downer, in a way. He's just, you know, he's still living off the fact that he had to kill the Daleks and the Time Lords. Then he makes all these new friends in season 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then what happens to Donna breaks him. Then we get to the waters of Mars, and he's a broken man, and he does some terrible things. And then he, you know, at the end of I forgot, at the end of Journey's End, when he has to erase Donna's memory, and then we go to the end of time and his battle with the Master and the Time Lords. And actually, in the end, it's a very sad story. But Russell gives him his reward. So that's an interesting positive. But Russell didn't really want to end it on a happy ending, which is surprising considering Russell is a very positive, romantic writer. And as I've said before on this channel and on this show, it's not about talking about romance as in sex and boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend and boyfriend, girlfriend and girlfriend, whatever. It's the idea of romance. It's being very positive within your storytelling. And it can get dark, but then you end happily. Well, Russell doesn't do this with his Doctor's arc. He actually gives him a somber ending. This is a Doctor basically saying, I don't want to go. But it's worse than that. Not worse within what Russell's doing. It's great what Russell's doing. But as a personality trait of the Doctor, in a way, he's become very selfish. I don't want to go. I don't want to change. I don't want to change. I like who I am. And that's what Russell's doing here. So ultimately, his Doctor ends in a very somber way, but then Matt Smith comes leaping out. Excuse me. Sorry, very damp here. Frog in the throat. You have to excuse me. But then Matt Smith leaps out as the 11th Doctor, and he's all positive, and he's running around the TARDIS, and he's a little bit nuts. And that's interesting, isn't it? He goes from I don't want to go to embracing life again. And I think that's the very element of reincarnation. In a way, whatever you was in the past doesn't mean you have to be that in the future too. So it's very, very interesting. But a broad scope of what Russell T Davies did with the Doctor was the Doctor is the main character. And I think when you look at, Chibnall kind of has made the Doctor the main character, but she doesn't feel like the Doctor. She doesn't really have much of a personality. She doesn't seem to have any wants or needs apart from finding out her erased memories, which is understandable. But there's not much there, not only with his Doctor, but with his supporting characters, his companions. The Chris Chibnall era is the empty vase. Do you remember the empty vase poem from Friends? And when Monica gets upset when that guy, that Mexican Spanish guy, writes a poem about her, and it's called The Empty Vase. Well, that's what Chris Chibnall's era of Doctor Who is. It's the empty vase, the empty vase. I don't even know why I'm saying vase like an American. It's vase, the empty vase. And that's what it is. It's empty. There's nothing there. There's an illusion of a timeless child arc, and there's something to get to. But ultimately, there's nothing to get to. And Russell T Davies' era of Doctor Who is so different. It's so vast, it's so unique, but it's so kind of homely. It feels like you're watching an everyday drama sometimes. It's set on Earth quite a lot, but he also goes to other planets, and Russell does this. Russell has written for children before. He's written for adults. So Russell knows all the genres. He understands what he's doing. But he writes characters, even characters that he doesn't agree with, from their own perspectives. But what Chris Chibnall does, and Moffat to a point, but not as bad, he writes characters he doesn't agree with just to mock them. Do you understand that? That isn't good writing. It's childish behaviour. But what RTD does say, I don't agree with you, right? But I'm going to write you this way, and I understand you're coming from your own point of view, your own history, and I'm just going to let you go with it. As a writer, that's very important. Where Chibnall's just here to write people with opposing opinions he doesn't agree with, just to knock those opinions down. As I say, that is pointless. There's no point to that. And this is what we're getting from entertainment today. Not the Russell T Davies formula, but the Chris Chibnall formula, which is so wrong, unentertaining, unnuanced, and uninteresting. So what this basically means on the day that Russell T Davies returns to work on Doctor Who is that you can celebrate, because we don't know who he's going to cast. It could be absolutely anyone from any background or any gender. I don't know, and that's not important to me. So it's not predictable who he's going to cast. It's not predictable what kind of Doctor he's going to give us, or what kind of story beats he's going to give us, and what planets he's going to go to. But I think one thing is very, very predictable. Russell T Davies, in his brand new R2D2, is it RTD2? Is that what we're calling it? RTD2. I got it wrong, didn't I? But in his new era, what he's going to give us, the most important thing in storytelling, is consistency and an arc. So however long he's here for, and people are predicting he won't be the main showrunner in the end, he'll bring someone else in, but this is what Russell should have done also in the first place. When he left from his original era, because he launched the revival, he should have gone upstairs and had an overseeing capacity in what was going on. And I said this when Moffat came in, and I've said this during the Chibnall era. This is what has defined Doctor Who, the revival, since Russell left. That he made a mistake. Everyone has to move on and do their own thing and do other things in their lives. But he cares about Doctor Who. He cared about Doctor Who when he left it. And just to allow people to come in and do whatever they want, even though it's creative freedom and you want that to a point, if people are going to burn down something that you've built up so beautifully with so much love and passion, brick by brick, you can't allow it to happen. And Russell now knows that was a mistake, and that's why now that will never happen again. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. Until then, goodbye.